So, Jorida, are we about set to go? Good evening, by the way, Jorida.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Yes, we are all set and ready to go.
All right, thank you. All right. Good evening, everyone. This is the Public Works Facilities and Sustainable Committee meeting for July 31st, 2025. It's about a minute past 6, and we're going to go ahead and get started with this meeting. First, I'd like to acknowledge those in the room with us. First, my name is Barry Walters, and I chair the committee, along with Vice Chair Carol Anderson Blanks, counselor. Today, I see, let's see, who else is here? I see Deputy Mayor Ben Winograd. As far as elected officials, I think that's just it, just us, keeping it intimate. And we have Town Manager Rick Ledwith. We have Director John Phillips and Director Bob Palmer. Let's see who else I see here. Dave Sagers from Sustainability. Michael Kippa from Public Works. I thought I saw Brooke Nelson.
Yep, she's there.
Yep, she's still here. And I think, Jorida, you round out the our host and presenter. Jorida Reinheimer is here with us. So we will go ahead and get started. And first, we have the approval of minutes from June 5th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Thank you. And I guess we will go ahead and just call it approved, Carol. Thank you. Next, under business items, we have B, resolution designating West Hartford part of the Highlands region. And for that, I think I will turn it over to Mr. Ledwith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good evening, everyone. Very pleased to introduce a resolution that would designate West Hartford as part of the Highlands region, which is a nationally significant area that encompasses over 3 million acres across Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. And this designation would make West Hartford eligible for federal grant assistance through the Highlands Conservation Act program, and would help us to together protect critical natural resources. And I had met with the chair of Sustainable West Hartford Commission, Dave Sagers, who's with us tonight, as well as with Catherine Domini. This resolution was recommended by our commission. And if you could, if it was okay with you, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to turn things over to Dave for a moment to give us a little bit more background on the Highlands region. Through you, Mr. Chair, I will turn things over to Dave.
Thank you. We'd love to hear about it because I think this is new to a lot of us. So
it is.
Figuring out the muting and unmuting here. Thank you, Mr. Ledwith. Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Dave Sagers. I am the chair of the Sustainable West Hartford Commission. I'm also the treasurer of the Trap Rock Ridge Land Conservancy, who is kind of spearheading this effort in several towns. As Mr. Ledwith said, the Highlands Conservation Act was passed in 2004. It was there to protect, a significant natural area covering several states. What are known as the Highlands, kind of the Appalachians, the Northern Appalachians, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. And then the area was defined specifically in 2004, but then in 2022, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service gave the opportunity to expand the region which normally encompassed up to a point, a couple of towns west of us, and then it was expanded out. And I don't know if it's necessary. I can share some documents with you or not, or I can just talk you through it. But it allowed it essentially to come as far as West Hartford, as far east, and for towns north and south. And that's primarily because they're looking at like the Metacomet Ridge, that it is significant. It is something, similar to the Highlands that can be preserved. What it really does is allows us to, as Mr. Ledwith said, access funds potentially for acquisition or for conservation easement. And basically, when it comes down to protecting land, those are your two options. You can straight out acquire land, or you can place a conservation easement on it in collaboration with the landowner, which obviously doesn't allow development to occur. It can be just as effective as acquiring the land itself because it prevents development. So what was required to kind of include West Hartford in this region. So we've been working with other towns so Trap Rock Ridge covers East Granby, Bloomfield, West Hartford, and Windsor. And previously, each of those towns had their own land trusts. And about 2 years ago, in April of 2023, we all merged together because we felt that land conservation and preservation was much more effective when it was done regionally. So this kind of trying to get all our member towns to become a part of the Highlands region or be designated part of the Highlands region is one of those efforts to create regional opportunities. So what that would allow you to do is either the town or a nonprofit could apply if there's an opportunity to acquire land in any of the towns that have been designated in the Highlands region. It kind of gives us access to funds that are made available through the state through DEEP. And then if we were to pass this resolution, then that will get passed on to DEEP and then on to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And then obviously there'd be some kind of communication, I'm sure, about future opportunities. It doesn't commit the town to do anything. There's no requirements of any additional steps or policies or anything the town needs to perform. It's merely putting you into sort of the database and making us eligible for future grant opportunities. So I kind of stop there and ask if there's any like broad questions about land conservation and or about this particular act or resolution.
I will open it up to questions.
I don't have it.
Deputy Mayor?
No.
No? Okay. I have the website for Highland for the base just loaded up here, and I'll be looking at that a little bit more later. I currently don't have any questions. I see the resolution here, and it's pretty straightforward.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we would, if the committee was agreeable to it, we would put this on the next council agenda for August 12th.
I am agreeable to that. I see a nod from Councilor Blanks.
I am as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So without any other questions, was there anything else that you would like to add, Dave, to that, or?
No, for now, I appreciate your consideration, time, and if we can, move that along to town council, that'd be tremendous, really.
Excellent. I see it as an opportunity for us. So I think this will be, a win-win. So great. I thank you very much, Dave, for bringing this to us.
Thanks, Dave.
We will go ahead and skip on to to C, which is an ordinance regarding electric vehicle charging stations.
Thank you, sir. You'll recall we brought forward a proposed ordinance regarding really the introduction of a user fee for our town's EV charging stations at our last meeting. And I think during that meeting, we had a good discussion really about the history of our stations being available at no cost for roughly the last 15 years. But as electric vehicles have become, as we discussed, more common, and the operational cost for maintaining and at some point expanding this infrastructure continues to grow, we all felt it was an appropriate time to revisit that policy. And I think there was agreement with the committee to do so. Following that meeting, John and his team, Brooke and Mike Kippett are here as well tonight, worked with Corporation Counsel to further refine the ordinance, and we have some tweaks that we would like to discuss with the committee this evening before bringing the ordinance formally to the council. And through you, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn things over to John, who can quickly discuss those changes. Through you, Mr. Chair, John Phillips, Director of Public Works. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, everybody. John Phillips, Director of Public Works. Thank you for the opportunity to present this preliminary draft ordinance to this committee, and hopefully we can move it forward to the full council. This resolution has three primary areas that we want to address: rate setting authority, cost recovery charges, and idle time surcharge. So what Public Works is recommending to the council is the authority given to the town manager or his or her designee to authorize and establish a rate structure for charging at our electric vehicle service equipment, which is the EVSEs, the charging stations. We're again looking at this. We're recognizing that what we're selling or what we're offering is a commodity. The rates can be variable and change. Sometimes they can change by a weekly, monthly basis, and other kinds of commodity type fees and service fees can be applied to this because we're just providing the resource through the machine, but the power comes from Eversource. There's a handling fee through the manufacturer of the charging station itself. And so our best way to approach setting the fees, and so we can make sure that we're cost recoverable, is allowing the town manager to authorize the fluctuation of those fees should that be necessary. And the second part is a cost recoverable charge. Again, this is looking forward, and basically it's a 10-cent charge and looking to recover all infrastructure maintenance and any administrative costs that may come up, including capital costs that will reincur by the town basically for the foreseeable future, right? Because EV adoption will continue to grow and become really the primary driving force in the decades to come. And the last one, which we talked about last time, we didn't make too many tweaks to this, but it's the idling surcharge. Again, because we have limited infrastructure, like a primary parking space, we want to encourage turnover. We don't want a car to pull up to our charging station and then nest there all day long. For instance, an employee working somewhere near the center and using the station. We want to encourage turnover. But we'll have that surcharge in place that once you go beyond 2 hours, which is our common kind of nesting time point in our own ordinances for parking, on-street parking, a $10 surcharge will be applied. Again, that's to encourage vehicles to get the charge they need to go on to the next destination and encourage that high turnover so other EV users may use it. Again, that's the basics of the ordinance you have before you this evening. We're hoping we can move this to the next council meeting. I'm happy to take any questions based on the ordinance you have in front of you.
Thank you, Director Phillips. Councilor Blanks, I'll start with you if you have any questions.
Thank you, Councilor Walters. I don't think I really have any questions for you, Mr. Phillips. And I don't want to repeat myself, but maintenance, I guess, how will it be maintained in terms of, I guess, monitoring? So for those that are nesting there all day, because I'm sure we'll have a few, especially in the beginning, how will that be addressed?
So when you use a charging station, and I'm certainly not an expert at it, but when you log into it, you'll have an app kind of connectivity. You'll have an account that you'll go into the system, and the system is smart enough or intelligent enough to know how long you've been charging for, and then it will start automatically after you went beyond the 2-hour nesting point. And so it's not the town necessarily making any changes. It's not labor. There's no labor to enforce it. It will happen all behind the scenes through the connectivity of the EV owner and
Mhm.
using the EVSE charger.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
Deputy Mayor Winograd, do you have any questions?
No,
No?
no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Um, I just want to clarify that. So when we talk about variable rates, so a person could one day be charged one rate and a week later it could be a little bit different. Is that what I want to make sure I understand it for everybody out there? And to make it clear also, the 10 cents recovery charge will be on top of whatever rate is being charged. So theoretically, it could be 40 cents plus 10 cents equals 50 per kilowatt hour. I'm just using that number. I'm not saying that's what it would be. But is that how I should understand it?
Yes, Councilman Barry, I'll start with the latter. Yes, that's how you should understand it. The 10 cents charge is on top of our base fee. Again, it's relatively a new program for the town. It is a new program for the town of West Hartford. It's still relatively new, probably on a nationwide basis. And so we were still learning and fit and feel of how often the rates will need to be adjusted. I would anticipate, again, it could happen on a daily basis, but we're hoping not. But we want to make sure the resolution covers us in case we do see a spike in charges and we have to make an adjustment on the fly. We don't want it to come back to council again with an updated resolution, wait that period of review, and then have that lost revenue or, the town having to make the cover the cost of using the machine because of our variable rate change within the industry. And so that's why we're using that language. It's just really more forward thinking than anything else. It's not suggesting that there would be an hourly and daily rate change. It's just being forward thinking and upfront of how we would look at managing these units.
Thank you. And to make it clear, we're not making money on this. We're basically charging what the cost of electricity plus the cost of the infrastructure itself. So it's not a revenue stream in which the town is going to get rich off of. This is a basically cover our costs type of situation, correct?
Yes, we're managing this as a net cost of operations. And that 10
Excellent.
cent surcharge would be applied to that because, again, that will cover infrastructure, maintenance of the units, future capital investments. Because, again, these units will have a shelf life. They will have to be replaced. And go, and this is a program that we'll have in our system for the foreseeable future.
Thank you. One last thing. I know there was a plan in place to install a number more EV chargers, and I also know that times have changed and grants are not as plentiful there as they used to be. Is there still a plan to expand that out? And if so, what is the timeline?
So yes, we're currently working on a plan in the public works report, which I can touch on a little later. We're working on replacing and updating all of our current units with funds that have already been appropriated through yourself and your other council members through the normal budget process. But we also do have a CIP account that we'll look, once this program is completed, we'll look to expand and add new units with that account that we have sitting in reserve right now.
Thank you. I thought that was important to get out there as well. Are there any other questions regarding EV chargers and the fees from our folks here at the meeting tonight?
None from me. I'm all set.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Director Phillips. Thank you, John. And I think, Rick, we can move on to the reports. Is that where we are at this point?
Yes, yes, Mr. Chairman, and actually John will continue with the floor with Public Works update.
Again, John Fields, Director of Public Works for West Hartford. Thank you. And again, so this we've submitted a monthly report for July 2025 to this committee. It should be in everybody's packets. Just at the beginning of the front of the report is really more of a fiscal year report on our waste and recycling. I guess as executive summary, land of steady habits. We continue to collect around 17,000 tons of trash, which is a little down from previous years, due to obviously ongoing efforts both from Catherine Bruns, who's our recycling coordinator, and just our intense public outreach about proper waste management techniques and recycling techniques. We've diverted about 8.4 thousand tons, which brings our diversion rate around 32, which is around equal to the national average according to the EPA. Again, it's a lot of work to maintain those numbers. A lot goes into just to keep us maintained and in that land of steady habits. But we're very proud of our numbers and the effort that goes behind that. Obviously, it's an essential service to the town of West Hartford. We continue to grow our food scrap efforts. One area that we're working right now is the West Hartford's Conference Center. We look to bring them on board as well for anybody who rents and participates using that facility, where they bring in food vendors. We'll develop a program where the food waste of those facilities, and sometimes they can generate a lot for food that doesn't get eaten. I'm sure we've attended many events and you see a lot of leftover food on the tables. We're hoping to capture that food waste separately and get that properly recycled. So we're excited about that addition. We continue to work our 4 locations throughout town. We continue to see activities of filling up our 4 current drop-off locations, which is still an exciting and good problem to have. But we to mitigate those areas that we know are heavily used, we do have a grant submitted to DEP to expand that program. The grant's is requesting around $44,000 to buy additional drop-off locations. And we may add a second container at Town Hall because that tends to be our strongest unit of all 4 units that we have out there. And then we'll look to other locations throughout town, places like Walcott Park, Westmore Park, Elmwood Community Center, Fern Park, and Bishop's Corner. Again, excited about our food waste program, continue to grow and really just getting public acceptance in that area. Again, we've already talked about the EV chargers. Again, I'll just recap quickly. Again, we have currently 4 locations throughout town, and we're updating those right now. As Rick alluded to earlier, they've been in service for 10 to 15 years, and we'll continue to build those out and add those to this program, including the resolution should it go through the full council. We were really busy in the month of June, leading into the summer. Obviously, we've talked about Celebrate West Hartford, our activities there. A number of other events throughout town that West Hartford is actively helping out with throughout any special event within our streets or our parking lots. Municipal parking's got some information in our report this month. Also sort of a recap of FY25. Considering the stress the system is under with the construction and the number of spaces taken offline because of construction activities, we felt we still had a fairly strong year, which is a good, strong indicator that the center, even though under construction, is still vibrant and very healthy, economically speaking, just by the number of parked cars that come into the system. We are in the middle of a restoration project on the garages. Currently, we're doing concrete restoration on decks. And if we have any questions on that, Michael Kipput is here to answer any of those questions specifically. And we'll have a public information release coming out soon, because we'll soon undertake a major restoration on the town's elevators and escalators within the garages. Again, call it a 20-year updated on equipment. And then it'll be more efficient, more energy efficient, and other new updated modernized features for operations on those units. And that'll get underway in the fall, but we'll have a press release coming out shortly on that. Our grounds division was extremely busy, most notably probably adding the dugouts at most of our baseball or softball fields. Justin Andrews, our grounds manager, really led that project in cooperation, working with Leisure Services and their CIP accounts, and excited about those additions at some of our baseball and softball fields throughout town. I'm sure you guys had a lot of information about Vision Zero. We had a large meeting, obviously, last night. What Public Works, our street division in particular, is in the supporting role. We get our guidance through our engineering department. And they give us good guidance of where we need to be, and we're doing everything we can to keep up with the pace of installation of our quick builds And we're very proud to say that a lot of the team down here at Public Works has embraced these quick builds and the understanding and the necessity of Vision Zero. And so they've been active participants in helping build out our transportation system for Vision Zero. But while we're out there, our street team has taken on additional responsibility. This month, we've painted over 40 stop bars and crosswalks, primarily located in the Kingswood Road area, Farmington Adder, the Fern, and the Troutbrook and Mountain Road areas. Again, just giving those stop bars and crosswalks that new, fresh look with fresh paint of existing lines that are out there. We are using our MadVac system going out to pick litter. We've gone out a few times already down the Park Road, New Park area, New Park Avenue area, and Prospect areas. Again, these are areas that, litter just collects, no man land areas, between properties become blight. And so this machine has helped us keep those areas a little bit cleaner and a little bit more efficient than sending manual labor just to walk those areas. Within our administration, we're proud to have now gone fully electronic with our workforce management system for timekeeping. We're using UKG, which is a very prominent administration for time and attendance. Our staff has more access and capability to access their information in real time using their own mobile devices. But we've buried our very dated and old system of self-reporting and paper systems to be fully electronic. Again, it streamlines the entire system for accuracy and helps out everybody. And we're very proud of to have taken this big step forward in our work management systems. And lastly, we did add an employee from a resignation that we had a couple months ago. We brought on Eduardo Hernandez. He came over from the custodian side at Board of Education after 9 years of service there. He's in our grounds maintenance 1. He started this past Monday, and he's a great addition to the team. He's a hard worker, forward thinking, and he's got extensive landscape experience by having his own business. And that's our report. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, John. Are there any questions for our Director of Public Works? Yes, Councilor Blanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to you, John. Wow, that was a pretty comprehensive and powerful report. Thank you for that. There was a lot of information packed in there, and I gotta tell you, I've seen it around town, so no one can say what's West Hartford doing because it's certainly apparent and everyone can see what's been happening, I want to say, since we began to put those boots on the ground. So thank you to you and your crew for really taking care of all of those questions and responses and complaints that have been coming in to you and to Mr. Ledwith and the rest of the town staff. I don't really have so much of a question as those comments. Just one question, and this question I can relate to is in terms of the conversion of your time management, going from paper to electronic. So, huge kudos to you all, and I'm sure the staff is overjoyed to have that. Might have been some kind of getting used to, change is always kind of awkward, but once you get the hang of it, it's like, well, why didn't we do this sooner? So kudos to you all for doing that. And one question I have, and it's just because I experienced it, and it's funny when we talk about changes, and that's the the food diversion and waste management. And I use the one over on what is that? That boulevard, the field, Norfolk.
Yep, Norfolk Field.
Right. And what was interesting is when I first used it for the first time, I just kind of brought my food over in a little plastic bag and then realized, oh, I don't have any gloves. I don't have anything to put it in or anything like that. So, and I'm sure other people experience the same thing. But how do we, I guess, collect data or manage which spot or which location is more popular than others in terms of the food waste that we collect? Can you talk about that for a minute?
That's one of the benefits of having an app-based system where you have to use the app to unlock the system, right? The unlock is just for security to make sure that we're only getting food waste in there. It's not just a general garbage can. but when you log on and you make that connectivity, that gives data and that gives us a heat map. And because you register it, and we ask for sort of an address, we're able to heat map to see where the food waste is coming from.
Okay.
And that will help us design infrastructure in the future of where to put cans, get closer to neighborhoods.
Okay.
And that, so, I mean, obviously we're limited to only go to our neighborhood parks, but it will see as far as how we can make our priority list because of heat mapping the town. And so we're pretty confident. The data is coming in. We actually have an intern right now. He's working that data to compile a report, and hopefully we can have that and I can present that at one of our next meetings.
Okay. Wonderful. Great. Thank you.
And thank you for the comments on our report. Again, I speak on behalf of the entire team. We appreciate to tell our story. We work hard. There's a lot of divisions, a lot of work going on down here. So we just appreciate the opportunity to tell our story.
Yeah, it shows. Thank you for all your work. All right, I yield back, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Carol. Deputy Mayor, do you have any questions or comments?
Just one, and I mentioned to the manager last week. Is there any way we can actually? No, who did I mention it to? No, never mind. Any way we can add to the app indication that that a bin is full? Definitely, you have the signs up that don't shove it in, and all we got the notice about that. But it is frustrating, obviously, when you show up with a bag of garbage in your car.
You're right, Councilman Winograd. Yes, that's actually a request, and it's not only from us. Other users of this system have made that request, and we're expecting a software improvement. And so, like Apple, there'll be another version that will come out and just automatically, when your apps normally update, so we'll have that ability. It's not out yet. They're engineering it now, but that has been a common request. So it is one of our requests. So we're hoping for good news on that front shortly.
Great, thank you. Do we have numbers on the volume at this point?
Same thing. We're working with Blue Earth. They're the ones because they do the collection and deliver it for disposal. Blue Earth, we're working on an opportunity where we'll have a dashboard, and then we're trying to find a location to where we can house that dashboard for the public to see on a regular basis on our website.
Great, thanks.
Excellent. That's all good. Are there any other questions? Hearing none, I will ask. I know you said that it's very hard work to kind of budge the numbers as far as the percentage of diversion, but how do we get that number up above 32%? How do we get ahead of the national average? Is it just more education? Is it and don't say pay as you throw. But absent of that, are there any other things, or are we pretty much pulled out all the stops to get us where we are?
No, we haven't pulled all those stops. And absent pay as you throw, which would be categorized as from even EPA standpoint is the most move the dial program that exists in today's waste management tools. Stronger enforcement. That's it. We have to have the callous or the will to enforce stronger on folks who just aren't paying attention, don't pay attention, because the information's out there, the education's out there. Obviously, we're not going to give up on education. We're going to continue. If opportunities for stronger education present themselves, we'll certainly deploy those opportunities. But at the end of the day, it's just getting the word out and getting people to actually just comply with the rules and drive that number down. I think we should, once we get to a full-blown transfer station down here, Brick Street built out, where that those opportunities or multiple diversion opportunities are presented at the facility, again, with education, so people have an outlet to bring the trash that shouldn't be in their curbside area. That's the material that either goes to incineration or out of state.
Gotcha. Thank you. The food scrap program, I know one of the concerns at the beginning was that we would have critters getting into or attempting to get into, and I have not heard of that as an issue. Can you confirm or deny that?
I can confirm critters have not been an issue. Um, we had a minor issue a while ago, but we mitigated it. I think it was, is it Bugby School? Not Bugby. What's the one off of Whiting Lane? Not Whiting Lane. We had one school that had a prominent bear problem, but we put that in a hard structure, and that problem went away with that change. We haven't experienced it anywhere else. Similar to our year-long pilot program, where we were setting a lot of food waste at the curb from about 400 residents on a weekly basis. We had no intrusion of food problems. So we're confident that our program is solid. Again, we're not adding a new material in the system. It's always been there. We're just sourcing it and putting it in a specific location. But it's still top of mind. It's still something we discuss on all of our programs to make sure we've got precautionary pieces in place to mitigate rodents or even in the bear population. But there's been no increase that I'm aware of that I can talk about intuitively. In fact, I'm pretty confident our program has been pretty safe up to this point.
No, I have not heard anything, and I just wanted that confirmation. The last thing, and then we'll get on to Mr. Palmer here, who is chomping at the bit to tell his story. Um, I I just wanted to commend Public Works on their role in Vision Zero, and also just the overall appearances and aesthetics of town. We're looking pretty good despite all this heat. I see the planters are blooming, and the park. I live very close to Norfelt, so I get to watch the dugouts go up, and everything just looks great. The new signage, all of it looks really good, and I think others would agree that it's up to the game a little bit, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you and everyone there at Public Works. Thank you.
I appreciate the kind words.
Oh, no problem. So I guess with that, we'll jump on over to Mr. Bob Palmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bob Palmer, Director of Plant Facilities. Start off with daily operations of school and town buildings. We're in the midst of air conditioning season. We're doing pretty well. The one major hiccup and an exception is we had one of the chillers at Conard High School go down. It looks like it was an electrical surge coming off the grid. So we're pursuing a claim with Eversource on that. In the meantime, we're ordering replacement parts and getting that back up and running. So at Conard, we have really two large chillers that do the majority of the building. So it's knocked us down to 50% capacity. Luckily, we did have summer school there this summer. That ended today, actually. But we're not using the entire building, so there wasn't much of a significant impact by that. So we're hoping to have that back up and running by the time school resumes later in August. So other than that, we're in very good condition. We are still recruiting for one part-time position at this point. So moving on to the new Elmwood Community Center. So we've just we continue to have limited use of the current 100 Mayflower facility. At this point, we're getting ready to head into demolition. We're really very close to going out to bid. If it doesn't happen this week, it'll happen next week, I think. So you certainly can expect demolition of that existing building to occur later this summer into early fall. So that's how that's tracking at this point. And I know Mr. Winograd will want to know about the dog park. We're trying to figure out a way of keeping the temporary dog park operational during that time period if we can. We certainly are aware of it. Access just might be from the Beachland Park side versus the Mayflower side. So, but we'll keep you posted on that. But we are trying to keep that available to the residents. So, as far as design of the new building, we've now got a complete team on board. So we had hired the architects over a year ago. We've recently completed the hiring of other professionals to help us in the pre-construction phase. So that's the construction manager. And that's Whiting Turner. We hired an owner's program manager, and that is Colliers, which is based in Connecticut. We also hired a commissioning agent, which is commissioning, in, basically commissioning incorporated, and they're out of Vermont, actually. So we did have a giant kickoff meeting this week with all the entities involved. The architect has completed what we call design development. So that really means is that we have a very good understanding of what the building is going to look like, what the major components are. At this point, we do a very comprehensive, what we call a page turn, with all the very different constituents involved with the building. So we'll be reaching out to various groups of users and other people involved in the building, going through very specifically their parts of the building, and just making sure that the elements and functionality is there for what they need before we go into construction documents. And construction documents is really the last phase where they begin to incorporate all the finite details of a building, down to what kind of light switch it's going to be, and what the cover is that where that light switch is going to be, and those types of details. So it gets very detail oriented. So that's really where we are at this point. We're also the construction manager is also in the process of doing an updated estimate based on the design development phase being completed. We expect to have that late next week, and we'll meet on that later that week after that, to review and discuss that with the entire team again, and to make sure that we're tracking on budget for that. So that's an update on that, where we are with that. So capital projects. So obviously we're in the midst of our summer construction season. It's go time, and we're really, really busy. So we're seeing some supply chain issues still. We're seeing some things that were specified not available, but we're able to make substitutions pretty easily, and find other similar products that we can substitute. So it hasn't been as difficult as it has been in the past 3 years. So, but it is interesting that we still very once in a while run into items that are, we think are going to be available, and they're not. So things change pretty rapidly in the market. So tariffs are still creating a little bit of uncertainty in the bidding environment. It's certainly on mind for the Elmwood Community Center, as more tariffs seem to be being set for long term. So it's certainly a factor in all of our projects, and we're constantly monitoring it and trying to understand it. But it's a difficult and challenging environment right now. So for town projects right now, animal control facility, we are finally in construction. The contractor has mobilized onto the site. They're in there. They have begun excavation for the foundation of the building. They've laid out the site. So we're finding all kinds of miscellaneous things down there. It was never, that set where it's being built was never officially a landfill, but there seems to be some debris in that area. So construction debris and that type of thing. So we are underway. The fueling station, which will be located at 705 Oakwood, the demolition is about to begin. We're about to go out to bid for that as well. So that's a typo there. We had done some preliminary demo in the building that we could do, taking out certain systems, but the final design is complete under the demolition, and we're about to go to bid for that. So we should see that very shortly too, is beginning the process of taking that down. So the design of the actual fueling station is pretty much complete. We're in the process of purchasing components for that and getting ready to install that. The goal is to hopefully have that operational before the winter season, especially for DPW. So fire training tower, we've, as previously stated, we've demolished the previous tower, and the site has been prepped. The design of the new tower is in process at this point and ongoing. So public safety facilities assessment, we have the report. We're just going to have to spend some time going through it with our friends in public safety, and digesting that, and then bringing that to this committee and to council in the near future. So townwide generators, fire station number 1 generator. So we are in our third attempt with a FEMA grant. I'm going to say third and final. So it looks pretty promising at this point. So we've been going through the various stages. So we hope to hear on that very shortly. That should be a pretty fast install on that. We're also exploring the idea of that large mobile generator trailer, utilizing a FEMA grant. We're having discussions with FEMA about the how that would qualify for grant funding from them. So the idea of that is that we would have one large generator basically towed by a tractor trailer, and we would be able to move that to several of our large buildings that are already what we call generator ready. So that includes both high schools and town hall at this point. We could also adapt other buildings as well, so that if we had a localized problem, we could just roll that unit right up and power that building up. So especially in an emergency. So we're still in design on town hall restrooms and lobby renovations. That's been kind of put to the side for a little bit as we go through the summer construction stuff. Fire station miscellaneous improvements, we're about ready to go out to bid on that. And that includes various improvements to Fire Station 2 on Brace Road, Fire Station 4 on Albany Ave, and Fire Station 5 on Berkshire. There's kitchen improvements there for Fire Station 4 on Albany Avenue. There's renovations to the sleeping quarters. They currently have one giant open bunk room at this point. It would create individual sleeping quarters. And for Fire Station 5, the primary focus there is renovation of the restrooms, creating both male and female restrooms. At this point, it's one gigantic open facility. So Rockledge Driving Range, construction is in process on that. There's really two phases to that. There's the driving range building itself. Construction began on that about a month ago, a little bit more over a month ago. The perimeter foundation is in. At this point, we're doing putting in mechanicals, plumbing, and electrical lines, and that for the rest of the foundation. The foundation itself, the floor will be poured in the next few weeks, and then after that's complete, the installer of the building, which is really a kind of a kit, they come in and erect that. It's kind of a pre-manufactured building that they bring in, and they come in and install it pretty quickly in a couple of weeks. So the other part of that is the driving range nets. The contractor has mobilized for that. They've begun drilling for the poles for the nets. The rain today and tomorrow is going to stop that. They'll resume that back on Monday. So you'll see those start to go up very quickly. So Eisenhower Pool, both Rockledge and Eisenhower Pool are really leisure services projects that we're helping out with because they are large and somewhat complicated. Eisenhower Pool, that was bid last year, and it included both a bathhouse renovation and also a new pool. The bathhouse renovation was completed over the winter and in the spring. The environmental abatement of the pool was a little bit more complicated than originally anticipated. And as we went to go do that work last fall, it became clear that we didn't have a good plan on that. So we halted that. We had utilized that pool this summer. It's in use right now. When the season ends in a few weeks in August, the pool will be drained, and then we'll begin the process of the environmental abatement and demolition of that pool, and which will allow the contractor to come in and to construct that new pool. So on the Board of Ed side, the fresh air project at Duffy, which was started last year, is continuing. It's tracking very well. Things are moving very well, with completion anticipated in August. So we'll have fresh air and air conditioning throughout the building. We're still finalizing design on Webster Hill, which will be the next one. We hope to get that out to bid later this summer, early fall. We have state grants associated with those projects as well. Auditorium seating at Kim Phillip. I've been talking about that for a long time. We're down to the final 2 rows. So hopefully by the next report, I'll be able to take that one off. So there's about 700 seats in that auditorium. So it was a big project. So roof replacements right now, we're in process at Bugby. It's been going very well. It's been going very quickly. Again, the rain today and tomorrow will delay that a little bit, and they'll pick that back up on Saturday and into next week. But we anticipate on time for that. We're in the process of applying for the Rayburn roofer will be next summer. We're in the process of doing the state grant process for that right now. And we're just beginning design on the Whiting Lane roof replacement for 2027. At Hall, we are in process on the kitchen serving line renovation, as well as a renovation of the entire cafeteria. We plan on doing the same at Conard and Sedgwick in the subsequent years. Also at Hall, we're doing the restroom renovations. We have 6 restrooms that are under renovation right now. We've run into some slight design delays, just running into materials that we thought were suspect asbestos. It turned out they weren't, but it does stop the process for 3 to 4 days as we halt things to get things tested and make sure that we're not doing anything with hazardous materials. So we did run into some delays there. I expect that we're going to have 4 of the 6 restrooms available in the first day of school, so it should not be an issue. Next year, we'll work on the ones at Aiken. Woolkett main office relocation. There's quite a bit of site work associated with that, as we are, as a reminder, we are taking the front entrance area, which was under a canopy, and we're just relocating it, creating a building there, really moving the office to the front of the building in order to create that secured entry that we have at the majority of our schools. A large part of the project too is reconfiguring parking and creating additional access areas for parent and school bus drop-off. So partly to accommodate the construction, but also long-term to improve the drop-off process at Woolkett School, so that the parents have an on-property inboard drop-off areas for students. They currently drop off primarily on the road at this point. So this will create a driveway internal to the school property, which will get them a little bit closer to the door and also get them off of the roadway. So that's some of the projects that we're working on. There's a lot more, but that's the majority of big ones that we're doing. Happy to answer any questions at this point.
Thank you, Bob. Do we have any questions, Counselor Blanks?
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Chair, and another wonderful, comprehensive report, Bob. I see both you and Mr. Phillips, you did not have any relaxation for these summer.
Well, luckily we both have really good people that work for us. So.
Right, and they keep you engaged, which is what we like.
Right.
But I and too, congrats, and just appreciate everything that you and your team are doing as well. And I know the folks over at Duffy, they got to be doing cartwheels and just absolutely thrilled that this new system is in place and they'll have some AC, because I know that's been a long-standing issue. But one question I do have for you, and this is based on meeting with some folks over in that condo unit off New Britain Avenue that I can't remember the name, and Deputy Mayor Winograd probably do. When we begin the project to demolish the old St. Bridget School for making way for the new Elmwood Community Center, and I know that we do this, but can, for the general audience or listening public, talk about what kind of outreach methods we'll do for the community to let them know that this is going to happen? Because one of their concerns, and I know Mr. Ledwith knows about this, is the critters that begins to scatter all over the place. And it's really a huge issue for the neighbors close to the school and probably a little further out. So can you just address that? Because I'm sure they'll probably see an uptick in this.
Yep. Yeah. So certainly anytime we do a demolition project, we're required to get a building permit. And as part of that building permit, there's a health department review, and they require us to have a rodent control program in place. So we engage a professional pest control company. They'll come in and bait the site ahead of time in the building and try to eliminate as many as they can. They'll also monitor the site during the demolition process to see if anything is coming out and that type of thing. We did the same thing at Charter Oak in 2016 when we took that down as well. So, and as much as we don't think that we might have stuff in there, we do. We know we do. So that there will be disturbance and some things will go. But we're well aware of that, and the town has building department and health department have checks and balances on that to make sure that we're doing it, and we know that we're going to have that problem. We'll also be sending out letters to the neighbors ahead of time to notify them that this will be happening, and we'll talk about that process, and we'll give them phone numbers and stuff like that for them to call, so that if they have problems, they can certainly report that. So,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
sure.
No more further questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Blanks. Deputy Mayor Winograd?
No.
No? Just seeing the top half of your head there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There he is. All right. Thank you, Bob. I counted real quick here, 15 different projects that you just went over, and that's not to touch upon the ones that you didn't touch upon. And
Right.
in addition to Vision Zero and all the other projects we have going on by various departments, it's just there's a lot going on, and I just have to show some love and appreciation for everyone that's managing somehow to keep all those balls in the air without dropping any. And I think that's a testament to the staff and the leadership that we have on board. So thank you. And I did see Mr. Phillips' eyes light up on the fuel station. I know he's right there waiting for it to open. So does anybody have any other questions or comments for Mr. Palmer? Without any other questions or comments, I think we're drawing to a close. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Mr. Ledwith?
Nope, that would be it for this evening, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, John and Bob, and thank you everyone else.
Will we have a meeting in August, or we're going to wait until September?
We will wait till September at this point. Yeah, thank you.
A little summer break. All right, great.
Rick,
Thank you.
sorry,
Yes.
Barry, will the resolution for the packet fees be on the 12th for the council meeting?
So we would, we would put the ordinance for the EV fees. Is that what you?
Yeah, the EV fees, yes.
Yeah. So that would be on the August 12th agenda, but we'd have to set it for a public hearing. So it would have to be that first meeting in September for the
That's
hearing.
fine. Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for asking that question. That was a good question.
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess it's 6:58. We didn't even make it to an hour. We got everything in there. Very efficient. I
Good job.
thank you all for coming to the virtual meeting here tonight, and enjoy the cooler weather over the couple days. And I think we can call it a close. Do I have a motion to adjourn? So moved, she says. So moved. All right. We are adjourned. Have a great night,
Good
everyone.
night, everybody.
Good
Thanks,
night,
everyone.
everybody.